Are you ready for the big secret? This video will make your life better. Just be patient and give me minutes from your time. Firstly, are you know any information about this universe? Is the universe infinite? Or is it finite in a steady state? From the very beginning this has been a subject of debate between great minds. Hot debates and ratiocination of all kinds failed to clarify this dilemma. This had once been the subject of philosophical speculations before it yielded its place to the science of physics. Some of the great minds argued that the universe was not a confined space, while others contended that its boundaries were drawn. The Quran, the holy book of Muslims, describes it as a continuously expanding and dynamic universe. According to this description, the universe has a new aspect every instant that deviates from the concept of an infinite space. Its perpetual expansion defies the concept of a confined and steady-state universe. Thus, the Quran, the holy book of Muslims, propounds a third alternative, leaving the heated controversy of thinkers in abeyance.
وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ.
This may contribute to the formulation of a judgment for the inquiring minds, probing whether the Quran is God's revelation or not. We have, on the one hand, Muhammad in the desert, neither a philosopher nor a physicist, and, on the other hand, the assumptions of great thinkers and philosophers such as Aristotle, Ptolemy, Giordano Bruno, Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton, to name but a few. The greatest minds in history, basing their arguments on observations and formulas they had ingeniously devised, claimed either that the universe had its confines or that it was an endless space, but it occurred to none of them to think of a dynamic expanding universe, until the 20th century when Edwin Hubble, by means of a telescope, demonstrated that the universe was expanding. The theory of expansion of the universe was first advanced in the 1920s. Until the descent of the Quran, no other source had made such an assertion. Unbelievers contended that the Quran was Muhammad's own fabrication and not the revelation of God. How then would these dissenters explain the fact that Muhammad had been the only person who was aware of the expanding universe long before the 1920s? Could it be that in the 600s he had invented a telescope similar to the one contrived in the 1900s? Could it be that he had been familiar with the handling of such a telescope and acquainted with the motion of stars, and that he had concealed it from his fellow men? If those who accused the Prophet of lunacy and alleged that in his delusional states he imagined himself the messenger of God were justified in their claims, how would they account for the fact that he knew facts not known to his contemporaries, facts that were to be discovered 1300 years after his revelation of them? If those people assert that the Prophet had devised a religion to serve his own ends, how can they explain that his so-called delusions materialized after a lapse of 1300 years? His pronouncements at the time did not promote his interests in any way. Quite the reverse was the case, since he unwittingly gave his enemies a hint they might take advantage of. Can a person whose own interests prevail over the interests of others declare something not to his own advantage that was sure to be bitterly censured and much derided by those whose naked eyes failed to observe the expansion of the universe? If, despite this, a person came up with the contention that Muhammad was an intelligent man who might have perceived this truth, what sort of an intelligence might this have been? And instead of boasting of having been the depository of such knowledge, why would he have preferred to tell an untruth and claim that this was not his own discovery but the revelation by God? While the inventor or discoverer of a pin is inclined to brag about his breakthrough, why on earth would Muhammad choose to be the modest and categorically declare that the Quran was not his own production, but the revelation of God? Was this due to humility? Would these people, who had denied his prophethood and accused him of having been an impostor, have dared qualify him with the laudable attribute of humility?
قُلْ لَئِنِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَىٰ أَن يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ بمثل هذا القرآن لا يأتون بمثله ولو كان بعضهم لبعض ظهيرا.
You must know that this miracle is one of thousands, and all of this prove that the Quran is the words of God, and the God say in the Quran,
وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فلن يقبل منه وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين.
And the God also, ask yourself, there are thousands converted to Islam yearly in every country. Why? Because they knew the truth and they found the real life in the Islam. Maybe all informations you was knowing about the Islam were fake. Don't delay this video and search about the truth before your life goes to its end.
From those around I hear a cry, a muffled sob, a hopeless sigh. I hear their footsteps leaving slow, and then I know my soul must fly. A chilly wind begins to blow within my soul from head to toe, and then last breath escapes my lips. It's time to leave and I must go. So it is true, but it's too late. They said each soul has its given day, when it must leave its body's core and meet with its eternal fate. Oh, mark the words that I do say. Who knows tomorrow could be your day. At last it comes to heaven or hell. Decide which now, do not delay. Come on, my brothers, let us pray. Decide which now, do not delay. Come on, my brothers, let us pray. Decide which now, do not delay. Oh God, I cannot see. My eyes are blind, am I still me? Or has my soul been led astray and forced to pay a priceless fee? Alas, to dust we all return. Some shall rejoice while others burn. If only I knew that before the line grew short and came my turn. And now as beneath the salt they laid me with my record flow. They cry not knowing I cry words, for they go home, my face, my God. Oh, mark the words that I do say. Who knows tomorrow could be your day. At last it comes to heaven or hell. Decide which now, do not delay. Come on, my brothers, let us pray. Decide